Okay, everybody's always looking for something to watch, especially now that you're in quarantine and everything like that. And there's a lot of good movies on Amazon Prime. If you're not a cheap ass, you just order a DVD from Amazon so you own it. But if you're an action fan, unfortunately, as you know, a lot of these great classic action movies from the 90s didn't really get ported over here in the States. And if you're not from the States, then you have no care or concern because you can get them easily. So, this is one of the reasons I always stress really invest in an all region player. I just got another all region 4K. I didn't even pay $200 for it. It's an LG. It's the way to go. Amazon UK has all these classics, but a lot of these movies do stream on Amazon Prime here in the United States. Once again, if that's where you're from, one of these movies is made in 1998. As you can see, I have a copy. Mine is the Region 2, of course. You can tell by the little age gimmick. This stars Gary Daniels. It's called Recoil, not to be confused with the I think there was one in the 2000s made. I know there was one, I don't think, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin and Danny Trejo, where when they fought, when the camera would go like on the sides and stuff like that, it looked like Stone Cold was beating up his ponytailed son because Danny Trejo is much shorter than Stone Cold. But that's a good movie. But I'm talking about the Gary Daniels movie, directed by my buddy, a man who made a bucket list interview come true for me. I'm talking about the man himself, Art Camacho, who should have been the bad guy in the stupid Chuck Norris Silent Force movie, because, or excuse me, Code of Silence movie, because the bad guys' names. I mean, the name of the bad guy gang was the Camachos, and they didn't have Art Camacho or Hector Macho Camacho. Stupid, not worth watching. Recoil's worth watching. Art Camacho can direct an action movie like like nobody. I mean, his stuff is tight. Now, on top of this, Gary Daniels, who is kickboxer, martial artist, amazing fighter. If you've seen any Gary Daniels movie, I personally think he has the nicest blocks of anyone. It's almost like watching perfectly the way he does it, the style he has. It's like another human being is basically a wushu dummy that he's kicking the shit out of. Every strike is a block, every block's a strike. It's awesome. And he did a lot of his own choreography on this. And he did it with another man. And I'm looking him up, and then forgive me if you're listening, sir, and I'm saying your name wrong. The action director was Spiro Razatos. Amazing job in this film. I mean, I'm talking about fighting sequences, gunplay, car chases, motorcycle chases. I mean, this thing is great. Art Camacho, Gary Daniels, Spiro. I got to look it up again. Razatos. I hope I'm saying that right. Made by PM Entertainment. They made action movies better than anybody back in the day. I mean, they were the staple of the straight to video action films. And this is probably not only one of their best films, I say it's Gary Daniels' best film. Some people will say that's Blood Moon. That's my number two. Blood Moon's awesome. Recoil. I mean, this is so good. I mean, this film opens hot. Gary Daniels plays a cop, and in the beginning, there's this like crazy bank robbery, like straight out of Heat. And they're killing cops. These crooks are they're armored up. They're killing cops left and right. But Gary and his partner roll up. Gary starts shooting. All at once. He helps. Even though there's 50 cops there, Gary Daniels evens the odds because he's Gary Daniels. So it all takes off into a big chase. You get all these explosions. One thing PM Entertainment was so awesome for, they used to do this show, I'm sorry to segue, called LA Heat. And they would take a lot of these big scenes from their movies and edit them into their shows. So one of the big van flips is in the opening credits of LA Heat, which is also on Amazon Prime, and you should really watch it. And then you should listen to my interview with Stephen Williams, where we talk about LA Heat because he was started. Anyhow, they go through the whole thing. I mean, the motorcycle, one of the guys is on a motorcycle, Gary and them, they're in cars. It's like a 10-minute chase, and it is awesome. One of the best chases I've seen in film. And that's saying something. The main guy, he ends up getting killed. Gary and them, they've saved the day. They're the hero cops. Well, that wouldn't be much of a movie because, see, what it turns out is the perp that they killed, who, I mean, I would have killed him too. He was trying to kill cops. He's the son of a mob boss who's got, some people on the inside of the force. And he's like, it's the old trope. Hey, these guys killed my son. I want all these cops involved. I want them all dead. And so they get them all. And now Gary's left. And so they're like, hey, you better lay low. get your wife and kids, get out to the country like a safe house till we catch these people and everything's good because there's already a whole string of dead cops. Well, like I said, this guy's got some juice on the inside. He's got the mole. He tells him where Gary is. They get in another big chase and ends in a car wreck. And unfortunately, that leads to the death of Gary Daniels' wife and children. So now we go into the classic action fueled by vengeance. So now this guy, he's got nothing to lose. So he's going to do some shooting, some punching, some kicking. He's going to do everything he can to just flat out murder all these guys and get his vengeance. The movie is Recoil. Like I said, this film is 1998 if you do a search. I know a while ago it was on Amazon Prime. Like I said, here in the States, it never got a proper release. I mean, probably a VHS somewhere if anybody still owns one of them. But Amazon UK sells it. I think I paid like $8. They're not expensive. It's a Region 2. It's Recoil. If you have access to an all region player, order it and buy it. It's definitely something you want in your collection. If you just want to stream it, go ahead. I'm like I said, Amazon Prime here in the United States, stream it. Art Camacho, top of his game. Gary Daniels, top of his game. It's an amazing movie. There's a reason why it's considered Gary's best film by a lot of people. I consider it, his best movie. The action sequences are, I mean, they're second to none in this. The car chases, the martial arts fights, the shootouts, everything. It's hard to believe that this was filmed as it's premium entertainment, but primarily is straight to video, was straight to video, I should say. And this you could have seen on the big screen. I mean, this had the look, feel, everything. The score in this is amazing. It really does look and feel like a big budget epic. They could re-release it today, and it probably would get theater play that well after COVID when theaters open back up. But this is a movie you need to check out. If you're trying to figure out more things to watch here while you're in quarantine, this is definitely one I recommend. It's called Recoil. It stars Gary Daniels. Go ahead, get it today. It's an awesome movie. You won't be disappointed.